Tarkir Dragonstorm is really starting to pick up steam, and in today's video we are going to talk about what's happening with the sealed product pre-orders. We're going to take a look and have a little discussion about the story, and then we are definitely going to be looking about Mox Jasper and what this card is doing in the secondary market. It seems like it was only yesterday that we were talking about sets like Dominaria Remastered, jumping into Ravnica Remastered, Innistrad Remastered, going over to the new version of Play Booster boxes like Karlov Manor. And now we're already past aetherdrift and getting to a set that a lot of players are holding already in high anticipation. That's Tarkir Dragonstorm. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Mox Man here. Thank you again for hanging out with me on my channel today. And before we get today's video started, I want to welcome aboard all the new subscribers who piled into the channel yesterday. I want to thank you guys for choosing to support my channel and join all my regular viewers. All the new comments are awesome, some great emails. It's just great to see a real lively conversation going on about these Magic sets in the game we love so much. So thanks again for joining. Now, when we talk about Tarkir, for anyone who hasn't been there before, they always drop these stories. For any Wizard of the Coast new upcoming set, it's to help you with some lore, give you a little bit of a backdrop, kind of understand what's going on. Now, they haven't done full novels in quite a while as far as I've seen or remember. I mean, there used to be a big thing back in the day. You'd even get bundle packs that had these novels built into the bundle pack, a full novel, so you could read about things. I remember for like Cold Snap and stuff back in the day. They really got away from that. They used to be in bookstores, and honestly, they've just ended up with these short form versions of lore to kind of get you a backdrop of what's going on. There are a few spoilers in this upcoming part of the video. You may want to fast forward. Fair warning. So the story starts out with Narset. And by the way, you can find this story on wizardsofthecoast.com. You can, watch it yourself, listen to it on audio, whatever you like. It starts with Narset and like a village thing. And she's going to like an inn. They're doing some stuff going on. And it's like a play with some magical, kind of like little trinket magic showing these spirit dragons and stuff. Honestly, the story to me did not hit home. It seems too generic, too low-key. It doesn't seem very well written to me as a person reading it, who's read a lot of fantasy novels in my time and still does read fantasy novels all the time. So for me as a person reading it, it seemed like a grade schooler thing that Mini Mox would read, not myself. So I'm kind of like, meh, I don't know who's writing this, but it's not like a top-notch writer. The only part I found interesting is not the fact they have characters like Narset. Of course, they got to represent some of the new people coming in. It was the end little bit at the very end of this part one, where one of those runner guys comes in looking for Narset, and he says, "There's somebody who wants to talk to you. It's a woman." And she goes, "Yeah, but it's a woman. She has wings." Okay, and she goes, "Oh, that's Elspeth looking for me." So there, I've given a spoiler and stuff, and But for me, that was the only part I liked. I liked that last little bit because you could picture a person running in. He wouldn't know what planeswalkers really look like, and Narset's not a planeswalker now, right? So you have Elspeth, who comes, obviously from like a new Capenna type thing and got the angel wings and everything, going through this whole battle and stuff. And now she appears after the Phyrexian War, and she's got these big angel wings and stuff. Like, yeah, that'd be pretty wicked looking, wouldn't it? Pretty awesome. So I like that. It was very entertaining for me for that one little bit. And that was enough to say, yeah, I am looking forward to Tarkir Dragonstorm. And that's where I find things. So that's the story bit. Now I want to jump here next to what's going on with the stores. This may not be good news for everyone. I talked a couple of days ago, and I discussed how some of the stores have already sold out of their Tarkir collector boxes. Now, I know lots of stores still have them. I know a lot of stores that have not put up the pre-orders yet. They're saying, I'm not touching this after what happened to Final Fantasy. I am sitting here waiting until the week of release before I drop all these collector boxes out for people to purchase. So I know my allocation, I know how many I'm getting, and then I will put them for sale. It seems like a smart play right now, because I just heard and got a couple of emails about people's orders being canceled. The store doesn't think they'll be able to fulfill all the orders, so they're canceling the last orders in. People are being fully refunded, everyone's being taken care of, but it's very disappointing when these things happen. And it happened to a few of the smaller stores as well as two mid-sized stores who just don't think it's going to add up correctly. They're worried about it. Looks like a few orders got mixed up online versus in person, where you write things down and stuff, so they had to cancel it. Now, that's only a few emails. If you know of anything, you can email me and let me know. But as far as I can tell, this is an isolated incident that really isn't meaning that there's massive cancellations of orders right now. Now, I'm not saying that can't happen, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's just people worried about their allocated numbers and a few oversold items potentially. I mean, from what one of the stores told me, they kept the person's name down and said if the correct numbers come in, they'll let the person get it at the price they bought it for before, which is good customer service, even though it still can be disappointing. Now, the next part I want to jump onto is what's going on with cards like Mox Jasper. These first initial cards we've seen have had a ripple effect across the secondary market, and a lot of it involves other Moxes. So I thought it was best to start sharing these information pieces, as well as letting you guys know where things are going and what the market trend is likely going to do closer to release. So the first card I want to share with you guys, of course, is going to be Mox Jasper. And you can see here, it isn't even released yet. The Mox Jasper is stubbornly holding on to the $98 pre-order value because there's been quite a few pre-orders on this card. Locally, I've only seen 4 that were available and sold ahead of time because the store's not sure how many they're going to get, but they're risking 4. But when we look at online things like TCG Player and you see there's 30, 40 sales there at $98 and the alternate version for $200, there's a lot of players hedging their bets that this might be a difficult card to get, but we do know the history of how pre-orders end up with single market cards. There have been instances where cards will hold their value or go even higher, like Sheoldred, but we also know there's going to be massive box openings for Tarkir Dragonstorm. Between collector boxes and play booster boxes, there will probably be quite a few Mox Jaspers that are found in the market and released into the wild after players have a playset that they need, and maybe 1 or 2 extra for Commander decks or Modern. We also don't know the synergies that will be involved with this card, so it's probably best, in my opinion, to hold back and wait to see where this card ends up 60 to 90 days after release, which is usually the recommended thing for most content creators. Kind of a generic thing to say, but with the market, we got to make sure that we're not overspending, and a card like this doesn't seem to have the legs for me to say it's worth that much, so we'll see. Now, the thing that happens, though, with cards like Mox Jasper is they affect the secondary market. Here we have Mox Amber. This is original printing from Dominaria. It got reprinted in the Brothers War with a couple of cool schematic drawing ones and extra versions, retro frame artwork. But since then, we really haven't seen anything happen. The card kind of bottomed out at around that $40 mark, but it's been on a bit of a tear the last 90 days. We now have it over $60. There does seem to be some speculation in the market, I'm warning you ahead of time, where players seem to think this is going to go a lot higher, and they're waiting to see where these things end up. That's put a lot of market pressure on the secondary market. We have a lot of these things leaving the market. It was $15,500 in sales in the last 7 days since March 1st. So March 1st to, I guess we were watching this video on March 7th. So in those days, we've had about $15,000. Now, that's not enough to make a top 10 video. We're only talking a couple hundred copies. And I also compared that with local places and online, but it's not a huge amount per se, but it's enough to say when you have a few hundred copies leaving the market, it hurts anywhere when we don't have a lot being released. We know some stores locally don't have any and have it on a wish list for the last 6 months. Nobody's turning these things in after they have them. And they do find uses between Modern and Commander. So it's something to keep in mind. And as we move into other cards, you can see here Chrome Mox, again, it has a bit of an increase. $5.60 month over month. This card is gaining in value. It's increasing. Now, we're not seeing a surge of sales though. This has got less than 50 sales that I could find in a weekly basis. But the idea that there's still people buying it at this price and not releasing and selling, people are trying to get over $100 in some cases, and the market's not agreeing with that. But we are seeing some sales and players between that $90 to $97 mark, depending on the version. Okay, there's different versions of the card as well, different reprints that are commanding different values. When we take a look now at things like Mox Opal, this has lost quite a bit of ground. It's still losing value now, where players are kind of like, we don't know where this is going to go. We think it's a little bit too high priced, and players don't want to, delve into a $160 card that just got unbanned. The flip side conversation of Mox Opal is that probably players already own copies of this card, and they do not need to buy another one, or can they justify buying one at this high a price when they saw what happened to things like Mana Crypt, as well as Jeweled Lotus. They don't want cards like this being banned again. So they may just be avoiding it right now, or they already own one copy and don't want to worry about it. Now our next card is Mox Tantalite from Modern Horizons. This card saw an 85-cent increase, which is surprising for a card that's under 10 bucks and hasn't really been utilized much by any players. When you look at this card and the fact it has suspend 3 and then 0 it comes out, yeah, it's not legendary, but Wizards of the Coast is unlikely to desire to break this in Modern to make 4 copies available by putting something that removes those suspend counters. If anything, you could expect a card like this to be broken and usable inside Commander by creating some card that's Commander only or from a Commander stationary set that allows those counters to come off for some reason, and that would make it usable inside a Commander deck where they don't mind if it gets broken a little bit because it could just blend in with the other Mox cards. Should you own one? Sure, why not? I own a playset of like 4 and I have a couple inside of a binder somewhere, so I think I own 8 in total, maybe 16. Maybe it's 16 somewhere, but at least 4 for sure, just in case it ever became something I wanted to utilize. Plus, you know, it's still a cool looking card. Now, the last one I want to discuss with you guys today is going to be Mox Diamond from Stronghold. This card has had continued supply-demand pressure it's made the price go up surprisingly high at this point. Yes, it's reserve list. It's hard to get your hands on it, especially a good quality copy. But most players who desire this, it's for Commander, and they are buying any copy they can find that's not, you know, too destroyed that they can't sleeve play it. So even slightly damaged copies that have bad backs and stuff, as long as you can sleeve it and it looks okay in the front, they've been buying these copies. But it also means the supply of these copy cards get really low, so players then start eating up the heavily played, the moderately played, until all we have left are the expensive ones. And after players buy these, they don't seem to be releasing them, they're just holding them in their collections. So that kind of, you know, pressure on the supply means it's going to continue going up. And if players really desire the card, they're going to keep paying higher and higher amounts. And when you pay a higher amount, you are unlikely to ever sell it for anything less than what you paid. It's the human psyche. It's what we deal with all the time in our lives, saying, I paid this much. I'm not letting it go for any less than at least what I paid. If not, I really want to make a profit on it for the future. So Mox Diamond is one of those cards that, yeah, it's going to keep going up in price. I find it very interesting when we see an announcement of a set like Tarkir, Dragonstorm, and a card like Mox Jasper comes along, or other amazing synergy cards that we are likely to see with this upcoming set and, of course, into the future. That kind of FOMO event that players feel can disturb the market and cause rippling effects across multiple cards, with the hopes and dreams of speculators making quick money, players wanting to brew with unique and creative concept ideas, as well as just the practical cards you need in any given new standard set. It's going to be very interesting to see as new spoilers come out, new cards come out this year, that if any of the value of the cards we're seeing in these Mox disruptions actually holds, or if things will settle back down to normal. In my opinion, we are going to see many of these cards retrace massive amounts in the next 90 days. They're going to lose 10-20% when we don't see really synergized cards that can link them together. On the other hand, if you see synergized cards that work with Mox Jasper and make it effective in other deck construction ideas or affect other Moxes in a positive way, then yes, the value will stay and it'll probably even go higher. It's a great time to be in Magic. It's an exciting time. Tarkir Dragonstorm is one of those sets I'm really looking forward to, and I can't wait to get there. You guys let me know what you think. Thanks for stopping by the channel. Thanks for hanging out with me. And of course, this weekend is my top 10 videos. The Saturday top 10, the hottest selling cards in Magic this week, and then the reserve list top 10 is going to be on Sunday. Thanks a lot for hanging out. I will see you guys then. Have a great day. And of course, a big shout out and thank you to the fantastic patrons of my channel. All you amazing people out there who make it happen each and every day. Without that continued support, daily uploaded content would not be made possible. So to my patrons, to my YouTube membership members, thanks again for making this all happen. To all the new viewers out there, all my regular viewers, thanks again for the thumbs up and the comments in the comments section and supporting this channel. I'll see you all tomorrow with another video. Here we are at the end. Welcome back. I have no coffee. This is the Ramble Jamble. This is a grumpy Mox Man. I got no coffee. Alright, guys. There is no way you should be buying Mox Jasper at $100. I don't care. That's like the ceiling for cards like Sheoldred, and I consider Sheoldred a superior card based that has no real drawbacks for what it does. Whereas Mox Jasper, you gotta have, you know, a dragon in play of some type. Even if it's just a 1/1 changeling guy, it is linked to needing something else. And that's a problem. That is a problem for any card. Having and being forced to have a linkage, which means I just wouldn't touch it until I know later on. Even like Mox Amber, you still have to have something, right? Mox Opal, you need to have something. These damaging Mox that need little things to make them work, understand that they have a limit to the ceiling price of what they can do until you can figure it all out. And it's not $100 on pre-order. That's just me talking, just my opinion. But I have one about stuff like this because I'm like, nope, that card is not the same as a card like Mox Amber. It's not the same. It's not the same. Chrome Mox is okay because there's reasons to put things in your graveyard and do things like that. Mox Opal with Metalcraft, pretty easy to get actually usable. I've done that with 0 artifact decks all the time. So those ones I understand. When I look at Mox Jasper, I say, yep, it's going to be fun. I can't wait if they offer some synergy, because they could. And don't forget Mox Tantalite. Side note, Mox Tantalite. They can't break it, but if they do, I really think it would happen for Commander, not in Modern. They don't want 0 casting cost Moxes where it's not legendary and you could have 3 of them, 4 of them, 5 of them, 10 of them. No, I'm just kidding. It's 4. The rule hasn't changed. I'm not teasing you. It's just 4. Having 4 of those things that could be broken out and you have a massive flood of mana could be pretty devastating depending on how it's being played. So I doubt they would do it for Modern. It's a nice tease, but I think it would happen for Commander, right? It'd be a Commander-only card, which means you could add Mox Tantalite in, I guess, as a possibility. You have to see. Maybe it'd be a Commander that can remove suspend counters or something. That'd be kind of cool. Anyway, that's me. That's my mind. I have no coffee. I got things to do. Mini Mox and Mrs. Mox aren't home for some reason, so it is what it is. I have nobody to cook for tonight. I just got to do some cleaning, some laundry, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Ramble Jamble.